this morning to tell us more. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Windsor Morning.
Thank you.
It's the first time I'm meeting you.
And you as well.
So what is the message people still aren't hearing when it comes to Alzheimer's?
Well, at times, stigma still exists in terms of Alzheimer's disease and other dementias. We as a movement across Canada and the world have worked hard the last 50 or so years to decrease stigma. We've come a long way, like we have with many things in terms of healthcare, but we still have a long way to go. In the event that somebody feels that they may have dementia, please give us a call or drop by at the Alzheimer's Society.
What's the unique trends are you seeing in our region when it comes to people living with dementia? Anything stand out?
Well, certainly people self-advocating. The generation of people impacted by dementia now, age 60 and up, are baby boomers. Some of them are the generation prior, but there tends to be a movement towards more self-advocacy, coming forward on their own and giving us a call in terms of self-care, self-management, and navigating through the process of having dementia. So it's a real positive. Looks a lot different than it did 20 or 30 years ago in that regard.
Can you expand on that? Are people more self-aware? Is it that the stigma isn't what it was? What do you think?
Both of what you say. Stigma definitely has decreased, but we always are aware that stigma still does exist. People have a tendency to speak for their healthcare needs, be more willing to self-navigate in terms of the healthcare system, are curious, looking out for themselves and their well-being of them, their life partner perhaps, and their family, and what the next 5, 10, 20 or so years may look like.
As our population ages and more people are diagnosed with dementia, how do you think we're going to handle that in society?
Well, what I can say is we certainly need a lot more funding in terms of local care across the nation in terms of health care. It's a significant pressure on the healthcare system, and we work closely with our local members of provincial parliament and our provincial office in terms of Queen's Park and the Ministry of Health, Long-Term Care, and other associated ministries in terms of advocating for funding and supports and care, particularly community care. A lot of people want to continue to live in their home through the disease process. Long-term care needs to expand, and certainly home and community care as well.
What's your story? How did you get involved with the Alzheimer's Society?
Oh my goodness, it's a long and involved story. I was supposed to work in the Foreign Service, being trained as a political scientist and a master's prepared graduate from the University of Windsor. But a long and involved story. I ended up working at the Corporation of the City of Windsor, early career at Huron Lodge. Our municipally owned and operated home for seniors. Fell in love with care for the seniors in my younger career. I was there for about 10 years and then moved over to the Alzheimer's Society and have been there for over 20 years since.
Right. How have you seen the society evolve in the last 20 years?
Certainly professionalization of the staff team, working in concert with the community in terms of evolved fundraising, donors stepping forward in the community, major donors and philanthropists in the community, major gifts, planned giving, bequests, and estate giving on the fundraising side as a charity to support our work, and certainly advocacy on the public policy side in terms of advocating with Queen's Park. Being healthcare and community care, we are funded through the province. Significant shifts and knowledge in that regard, as well as continued research. Ultimately, the goal is to find a cure for dementia, for Alzheimer's disease, and we're not there at this point in time. Alzheimer's disease was discovered in 1906, so we're more than a century on, but we continue to have the dream and the goal that there will be a known cause and a known cure. We are still not there.
What needs to be done to get us there?
More scientific research in terms of hard science on the biomedical side. And our national office, the Alzheimer's Society of Canada, certainly funds research in that regard on the biomedical side and also on the caregiving side as well. So we're very proud of the donations there and the continued research. Again, we continue to move forward with hope and optimism.
You have programs to help people with dementia as well as their families. What role do families play?
Oh, families are significant, and we've always said in our 43 years of service here in Windsor and Essex County that it is the care partner, that is the language that we use, as well as the person living with dementia, again, the language that we use, that we serve. And care partners play a significant role, whether that be a spouse, life partner, adult child. Sometimes it's a grandchild or a dear friend that helps care for someone. Very significant, particularly when the disease progresses and the person is at home more so, less so in the community, and requires home care.
If you have a family loved one and you suspect there might be dementia or Alzheimer's, what's your advice for how to approach that conversation?
It's a very difficult conversation, and each situation is unique in terms of how to approach that. Some people you can be very candid and straight on. Others it may be a little bit more innuendo. I would suggest people give us a call at the Alzheimer Society if they're concerned, not sure how to approach that conversation. And we have a subject expert, several subject experts in terms of our clinical care team in terms of how that sensitive conversation could perhaps move forward.
That's what I was wondering. The resources you have available are resources like that, right? You know, you can pick up the phone because sometimes it feels isolating when you start thinking, oh, well, normally they would remember that. Oh, okay, well, that's starting to slip. But to know that there's a society that you just pick up the phone and you have the resources there, right?
That's correct. We have a position that's called the First Link Coordinator. An exceptional woman holds that position, Lise Duvet. Please call, and Lise would be happy to speak to you. And we have a team of social workers, nurses on staff who are willing to continue with education and support in that regard for both the care partner and the person living with dementia, and a whole host of programs to support through the disease progress.
If people want to give to the Alzheimer's Society, you have some events coming up.
We do. We have Battle of the Brains on Friday, January 19th at the Chicharo Club. It is sold out. Wow. We have about 1,200 people coming. Jack Ramieri is our master of ceremonies there and leads that process.
We have a group here from our office that are hopefully going to go. I don't know if they're donning the CBC Gem shirts or not. Maybe they're slipping in.
I hope so. Brainiacs that
yes,
you
we are sending our best and brightest.
Wonderful.
Big Tom event. And I are not going.
I see Tom shaking his head no, looking a little pink in the face.
We have better people to send.
It's a wonderful event and shows incredible community support and it challenges the brain, which is part of what we promote in terms of keeping active. So that's coming up in January. Our matching gift campaign will be in the spring. Philanthropist Mr. Jim Scott from Ground Effects in the community has pledged $60,000.
Wow.
Looking to the community to support that in the spring. So more to come during Alzheimer Awareness Month and as we move forward.
Assuming everything's on your website and socials.
By all means, or give us a call at any time.
All right. Sally, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming in this morning.
The pleasure is mine. Thank you.